Imagine this. You're in a dimly lit room, surrounded by people murmuring over drinks, laughter echoing in fragments. Your eyes scan the space, a sea of faces flickering in the candlelight. And then, someone enters. They don't speak, they don't smile. But the atmosphere shifts, heads turn, conversations pause, just for a second. And without understanding why, you feel yourself drawn to them, like gravity itself had just chosen a new center. You don't know their name, but you know one thing. They have it. That elusive, untouchable, spellbinding it. Charisma, not beauty, not power, not wealth. Something more primal, more magnetic. Something that doesn't ask for attention, it consumes it. But here's the question that haunts deeper than we admit. Why are we drawn to certain people as if their presence fills a void we didn't know we had? Why do their words echo in our minds long after they've gone, like whispers in a canyon? And more disturbingly, what if charisma isn't just a gift, but a subtle form of manipulation we crave? Let that settle. What if what we call charisma is not a virtue, but a drug? You see, we like to believe we're rational, that we admire people based on reason, on substance. But beneath that illusion lies a darker truth. We are creatures of feeling first, logic later. And charisma? It's not about what someone says. It's about what they stir inside you. The longing to feel seen, the hunger to feel safe, the ache to feel alive. A charismatic person walks into your world and somehow mirrors the person you want to be. They reflect your potential, your beauty, your unlived courage. And so, you give them your trust, your attention, your admiration, not because they earned it, but because you need them to be real. Now ask yourself, who in your life holds that power over you? Whose approval could lift you into euphoria or crush you into despair? And flip the mirror. Have you ever wished you had that effect? Have you ever stood in a room, invisible, wondering what it takes to captivate? Here lies the paradox. Charisma seems effortless, but behind the illusion often lies a calculated performance, a choreography of emotion, posture, tone, and timing. And yet, those who possess it seem so authentic, so real. So what is it, really? Is charisma a reflection of inner truth, or the art of perfect deception? Is it born or built? A flame lit by nature, or a mask carved by need? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's neither. Here's the unsettling part. Charisma isn't just about the person. It's about the audience. It's not something you possess. It's something others project onto you. The desire to be led, to be charmed, to believe. That means charisma isn't a light. It's a mirror. And if that's true, then what does it say about us? Why do we yearn to follow those who make us feel seen, even when they might not see us at all? This is the mystery we'll unravel, not with cheap tricks or shallow self-help advice, but by descending into the deeper psychological and philosophical layers. We'll walk through the shadows of desire, ego, fear, and myth. We'll meet the ancient storytellers who first conjured gods with silver tongues. We'll explore what Jung might have called the charismatic archetype, a figure who emerges not just from personal magnetism, but from collective need. And perhaps, in peeling back the layers, we'll see charisma not as an enchantment others cast, but one we invite. But be warned, this journey won't flatter you. It will expose the hunger you didn't know you had, the places in your psyche that ache for awe, for affirmation, for someone to tell you who you are. So ask again, what is charisma? A gift? A weapon? A performance? A reflection? Or is it the final trick of the ego, whispering that we are empty until someone important notices us? The answer lies deeper still. Let's begin by unearthing the hidden roots of this irresistible illusion. What psychology, philosophy, and society have woven into our minds over centuries. They speak, and the room obeys. Not because they shout, not because they beg, because something in their voice unlocks a door inside you. And for a moment, you feel like you exist more fully in their presence. But here's the question you've never dared to ask. Why does someone else's confidence feel like oxygen to you? Why does their gaze feel like sunlight, while your own reflection barely flickers? There's a secret no one tells you. Charisma doesn't begin with them. It begins with you. More precisely, with what's missing in you. You don't follow the charismatic because they're whole. You follow them because you're not. Because somewhere along the way, you were taught to doubt your own gravity. So when someone walks in with that rare stillness, that steady voice, that unapologetic presence, you attach your worth to theirs like a lifeline. You want to orbit them. You want to be chosen. But this isn't admiration. It's longing. Longing to feel complete, if only by standing in someone else's light. And here's the haunting part. They don't even have to be genuine. They just have to make you feel like you matter. Not deeply, not truthfully, just enough to make you feel visible. Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to survive the world. Charisma is the mask perfected, refined, weaponized. It's not always fake, but it's almost always strategic. And worse, you don't fall for who they are. You fall for how they reflect, who you wish you could be. This is the wound, the silent one that lives beneath your achievements, beneath your cool detachment, beneath your curated image. The one that asks, constantly, am I enough without being impressive? And charisma answers that question just convincingly enough for you to forget it's still unanswered. But that's the trap. Because the moment their attention fades, the moment their presence leaves the room, the silence returns. And in that silence, so does the truth. You were never chasing them. You were chasing a version of yourself you haven't met yet. The problem isn't that they're powerful. The problem is that you think you're not. There's something strange about the way certain people speak. It's not what they say. It's how silence follows their words like loyal servants. How your body reacts before your mind even understands. A tilt of the head, a quiet certainty, a smile that feels like it knows a secret about you, one you've never dared to say aloud. Charisma. But what if it isn't what it seems? Not a gift, not a glow, but a carefully built echo chamber. A mask of light cast over a darker truth. Charisma feeds on hunger, and the world is starving. Think back. Can you remember when you first learned that being yourself wasn't enough? That to be noticed, you had to become something more likable, more impressive, less you? We all learned it somewhere. And ever since, we've been aching to be reflected in someone else's eyes, beautifully. That ache is what charisma finds. It senses the wound. It whispers just the right words into it. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to survive the expectations of others. The charismatic mask is just more polished, more seductive. But make no mistake, it is still a mask. It says you are seen, while hiding behind 1,000 rehearsed gestures. But here's the hidden paradox. Charisma feels like deep connection, yet often it's built on emotional distance. It feels like truth, yet it's crafted like theater. And worse, When someone truly knows how to reflect you back to yourself, you begin to forget who you were before they arrived. You disappear, one compliment at a time. Friedrich Nietzsche warned us, "He who cannot command himself must obey." And when you are uncertain of your worth, you will obey the person who seems most certain of theirs. This is the hidden machinery beneath charisma. It isn't magic, it's recognition. A mirror turned toward your emptiness. The tragedy? We chase these mirrors, thinking they will complete us. But they can only reflect. They cannot fill. So the question becomes, if charisma is a mask, who are you when no one's looking? And why are you still waiting for someone else to tell you that you matter? Next, the unseen consequences. What happens when charisma doesn't just shape individuals, but entire realities, and no one realizes the illusion until it's already in control? There's a moment you never forget. Not loud, not dramatic. It slips in quietly, like a breath you didn't know you were holding. You look at them, the one who once held your mind in their palm, the one who could tilt your entire world with a glance, a word, a pause. And suddenly, it's gone. Not their presence, your hunger. You no longer need their approval, their attention, their validation. Something has broken, or maybe something has awakened. This is the rebellion. It doesn't begin with rage. It begins with silence, with the terrifying realization that the person you've been waiting to become was never hiding in someone else's eyes. It was always you. And now, the performance ends. You stop trying to impress. You stop curating your voice to echo what they'll applaud. You stop shrinking, bending, polishing yourself into a version that fits neatly inside someone else's desire. You return to yourself, not the self they loved, the one they never really saw. And it hurts. Because letting go of the illusion means grieving the part of you that depended on it, the identity built on being liked, the safety of being someone else's favorite mirror. But something else rises in its place, something heavier, stronger, still you, without apology, without performance, without need. Do you know what happens when you reach this point? People still notice you. They still lean in. But now it's different. They don't see a mask. They feel a presence, a quiet gravity, unforced, undisturbed. The kind of presence that doesn't demand the room. It anchors it. Because true power isn't about controlling the gaze of others. It's about becoming someone who is no longer shaped by it. They'll say you've changed, that you seem distant, that you're harder to read now. But really, you've simply stopped speaking in the language of need. And the moment you do, you stop being a follower. You stop being a reflection. You become the origin, not charisma, not charm, something far rarer, sovereignty. This is the real rebellion, not louder, not brighter, but still, and utterly your own. Now the mirrors have shattered, the spell is broken, the room has gone quiet, and you're left standing in the aftermath, not as a performer, not as an admirer, but as yourself. Here, in this stillness, something whispers to you, not in words, in memory, of all the times you twisted yourself into shapes just to be seen, of the smiles you wore like armor, of the silence you mistook for grace, when really it was fear. And you see it now, clearer than ever. Charisma was never theirs. It was yours, projected outward, searching for a home. You fed it. You made it shine. You called it special. But what you were chasing was your own forgotten light. This is the final truth. We do not fall in love with people. We fall in love with the versions of ourselves we believe we could become in their presence. Charisma, then, is not a gift bestowed upon the chosen few. It's a mirror turned outward. And you are the one doing the reflecting. You believed they had the answer. But the question was never theirs to solve. It was yours. Not, how do I make them see me? But, why have I spent my life waiting to be chosen? You are not here to be discovered. You are here to remember. To recall what was buried beneath the noise, the masks, the applause. To speak not to impress, but to connect. To walk into the world, not asking to be loved, but bringing love with you, already intact. Because when you no longer need permission to exist, you become something charisma can never touch. Presence, truth, wholeness. There is nothing to perform, nothing to chase, nothing to prove. You are not a magnet. You are not a brand. You are not a mask crafted by others' desires. You are the one who stayed when everyone else turned away. The one who faced the void and didn't flinch. The one who learned to belong to themselves. And that is unforgettable. So let the charismatic ones sparkle. Let the world admire its polished performers. You are something rarer. You are real. And in the age of illusion, there is nothing more powerful than that.